So if you had a chicken that laid 5 eggs a week and 4 out of those 5 eggs hatched, and you were able to sell those 4 chicks that hatched for $20 a piece, where would you put that chicken? How would you treat that chicken? So most likely you're gonna put that chicken in, I don't know, your living room, your bedroom, your basement. I mean, you're gonna wanna take good care of that chicken, right? You're not gonna leave it out in the rain, in the mud, to fend for itself. If it's getting dark and every night you have to go put this chicken back up in the coop because it doesn't listen to the poultry net, it doesn't wanna go back in the coop, and you're afraid that it's gonna get eaten by a raccoon or a coyote, you're gonna go out there and put it up every night, right? That's not what we do here. I'm a firm believer in breeding chickens that can survive out on the homestead. That's what you guys are getting them for. You guys are getting them to put out on your homestead and to be able to survive without being pampered, without being put under a lock and key. You want these things to go and survive for themselves. So that's what we do here. If I have a hen that keeps getting out every night, you know, I'll help her out in the beginning. But after a while, I say, hey, you know what? Let nature take its course. Because I do not want that hen's daughters, because most likely, guess what? They're gonna get out all the time. And I think it's just human nature, right? If you're hatching out chicks that are worth so much money and so many people want, you are gonna make sure they hatch. We don't baby the chickens. We have them outside. We're running them just in these chickshaws. That's the only shelter they have. They only really go in there at night. Right now we have a thunderstorm coming through, so they're kind of huddled up underneath it. If one of them gets sick, guess what? We don't do anything about it. They're either gonna live or they're gonna die. And I know that's harsh, but when you're talking breeding stock and you guys are trusting us to get the best breeding stock you can and the best start you can from us, we take that very seriously. Just like the eggs in the hatcher. I'm not gonna help a chick hatch. You can't do it. For one, most of the time they end up with birth defects that they'll never grow out of. And 2, that's not something that you want to pass on. That's not genetics that you want. So be very careful when you're getting your starter flock, when you're getting your starter birds. Do you really want to start out with something that's coming from a commercial barn, where the parent stock has been bred in a commercial barn for years? But I think it's very important that we do not baby these things just because of their price, just because of how much they're in demand. How come in something like a barred rock, you can get a hatching rate up to 95%, but meanwhile, with something that's expensive, like these American Bresse, you're not gonna get a 95% hatch rate. I have, but on a bigger scale, overall, you're not gonna reach 95%. And that's because so many people are doing things out of the norm that you shouldn't have to do, like sanitizing the eggs completely before they go into the incubator, or putting a bunch of chemicals on the eggs to ensure that they hatch. There's a lot of different things that people do. I'm not talking about making sure you have the right humidity setting and the right temperature setting. That's natural hatching 101, right? I'm talking going above and beyond that to make sure that every last egg hatches. I'm talking about helping chicks hatch. These are things that are genetic and will eventually bite you in the butt in the long run.